siege. How? Can you give us a description?
And that is the best captivating.
I've not finished though, Governor. The second part of it is that, look, we hear that the governor is the chief security officer of the state. Tell us, what are you doing? Because in neighboring Niger State, Governor Bago, he has rolled out measures. So you are in Benue, you are also under siege, like the man in Borno, like the man in Plateau, like the man in Niger. What are you doing? So first, describe, explain the siege, and then tell us what you are doing, whether you are doing something or nothing.
You know, the problem in Benue State now, in fact, is beyond control. Is over the governor of Benue State. The Benue State is under siege. Now, take your time, listen to the governor of Benue State. The reason, what is causing the problem, the insecurity, the pipe that has been happening. A lot of communities has been, if all the people in the communities has been sent away from their communities. A lot of people are now they are stuck in IDP camp. So a lot of them problems. A lot of them have lost their lives already. So and it's still going on. So the governor is calling for intervention on the president that he can't do it again. So now listen to the governor of Benue State, what he said, the reason of this bite that is not ending anytime soon, what is causing the problems, where he started from, what he is about to do or planning to do. Take your time, listen to this video, and please share, subscribe to this YouTube channel and hit the notification button, please.
The appropriate captivating speak on what we are undergoing. It's purely, as I've mentioned, that we are under siege. We have 23 local governments in the state. Before I came in, almost all the local governments were under attacks by the armed herders. Along the line, since 1 year, 9 months ago, we came in, we fought the best we could. We got this stream down to 9. And the 9 were the most ones that were under fire. In Zone C, we have Apa Agatu, and then of late, including Otubo. There's Ohimini, Borders, Kogi. There were some skirmishes from wherever they came, attacked, and then went back. Other terrible frontline attacks we experienced were from Guma, Gwe West, sometimes Gwe East, and then Kwande, Logo, Katsinala, and Ukum. But again, we intensified our fight against these insurgencies. What now happened is we have 6 that are fully in the front lines, including Katsinala, Ukum, Logo, Gwe West, Guma is a bit calmed down, and Apa Agatu. Now, we all know within the state that it is the armed herders who come in to attack. Usually, before this time, there were routes these people could walk with their cattle all through Benue State and went down to the south. But then with the increase in population, there are no spaces anymore. We are agrarian people, we farm. So where they now pass, these are all farmlands. Even then they were farmlands. So as they are grazing through, we experience a lot of destruction of farmlands, and then even the planted elements we did on the farms, and then the produce on the farms. Where foods was even stored on the farms, we are now became so vulnerable when we are opened for the cattle to eat. We fought that. We had to speak with different categories of people by their own ranks and our own ranks for all this thing to calm down. And this is why everything had now beaten down to governments that are in the front line. Experiencing of late. And this is quite directed. What we experience now is very directed. I can hear you.
Governor, please, if you may just complete your thoughts about the security situation in Benue State. And I'm also hoping that you will make some comments about the passing of Pope Francis. You being a Reverend Father,
yes.
Now in politics.
Thank you so much. The point I was trying to establish here is the fact that most part of the states were under attacks. we had 17 local governments that were badly under attacks. When we came in the last 1 year, 9 months, we fought this to 9 local governments that we are now heavily under attacks. As I speak, we have 6 local governments that are under attacks. And these include Apagatu, Logo, Ukum, Katsina Ala, and then Kwande. What we experience is the armed herders come in. Before now, they could just come with their herds. The Fulanis will come with their herds, and then to the isolated local government, move through, and then do the attacks. The people settle down. What we had somewhat less killings. What we have as a new face of these attacks is the fact that the people who are attacking us now, plus the herders, armed herders, are not just coming with any herds at all. They don't come with cows. Rather, they come fully armed with their AK-47 and AK-49. They come in alone, wear one dress, and they can stay in the bushes as long as they can until they do the attacks, and then they disappear. After a week or two, then they come in now, there are folks coming now to occupy those spaces. If you go to Kasinala local government, in most part of Ukum local government, this is the occupation that is made. If you now come to Gwe West local government, it's even worse. Now, here's the thing. These attacks are deliberate. You move to Zone C now, where I speak about Apa Agatu. The attacks were also very vehement. Of late, Otupo local government is also included. But what we experience in Otupo is the kidnapping, and then we write very large sums of ransom attached to that and all that. These attacks are very deliberate. These are calculated. They come in, attack, fully with the intent of killing and then occupation. Sir, we are farmers here in the state.
Sir, Governor.
When you disbalance of...
Sir, Father, Governor, are you with us? Are you with us? Governor Alia, are you with us?
Okay.
Hello, sir. Okay. It looks like we lost connection again.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted him to talk specifically about what he's doing as governor, and also to talk about the Pope, which is the major issue. I hope we'll be able to reconnect with him.
I believe we've reconnected.
He's back. Hello, sir. Governor.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, please. Look, Father, I would like you to talk about what you are doing, and also your thoughts on the passing of Pope Francis. And if you can just focus on those issues, briefly.
Okay.
Because we have 3 of us on this panel,
okay.
and we still have a lot to talk about.
The attacks we have experienced of late are very deliberate and so calculated, with the aim just to come, kill, maim, then to land grab. And here's what happens. Now, from 17 local governments that were then attacked before we came in, we were able to fight this down to 9. And again, we sustained our fight, and it's come down to 6 local governments that are badly attacked. What we have tried to do is, we bought 100 Hilux trucks, and then gave the different security apparatuses in the state. We also bought 600 motorbikes and distributed to them. We empowered our joint task force, the Operation Zinda, and then with the joint task force of Operation Anyamyo. These have been very supportive and quite helpful, and this is why we've trimmed this down to 6 local governments that are badly hit amongst our local governments now, amongst the 6. If you move to Gwe West in one of the local governments, there is a very heavy occupation. Ukum and the suburbs shares the same heavy occupation, and then Katsina. Instead of having a Good Friday, just last week we had a very Black Friday. We had a very heavy attacks in Ukum and then Logo. Started with 5 and then 12, and then it moved on. As at Saturday morning in Logo local government, we assembled those that were killed in the bushes, amounting to 27. When I now went to to Ukum local government, separately from these 27, we had 29 corpses. The numbers can still rise because they are just out there in the bushes trying to see if any dead bodies are left. These are the efforts we've put in place, but we need help. We need more hands, we need more help. The federal government has tried her own bit as well. They've been working with us along these lines, and this is why we have the numbers from 17 down to 9, and now down to 6 local governments in the front lines. They supplied us with 2 armor tanks. It improved the security apparatus within the state. With the visit of the NSA yesterday again, it brought some reassurance. But what we need now is the emergency of help for now. Then the long term can also come. We can go to the farm. There's little less we can do. Our people want to take all this up themselves to defend themselves. Well, it's okay, the Constitution permits us to defend ourselves. But how helpful is that for now? That a carnage it's mounted on you as a people, and then you are being targeted, and you are not prepared for all this. Granted that in some places in the last 15 years, in some areas in the last 22 years, there had been these occupations bit by bit, and then it became a spread thing. So asking the people to get out there and defend themselves is not quite wise at this.
Okay, Mr. Governor, all duly noted. Now, we began this interview by speaking of parts of Benue State that are, and I quote, under siege. We saw the visit from the National Security Advisor yesterday. And today's front page of Daily Trust reports that you seem to have conflicting situation reports of what's happening in your state. While you say that parts of your state are under siege, the NSA is saying that no part of Nigeria is under occupation of non-state actors. Why do you and the NSA have conflicting situation reports of what is happening in your state?
I'm not sure it is a conflict, but here's the thing. When you come in, kill, with intent to occupy, where were you before this time? Yes, I'm saying that the armed herders, whose face has a second phase of these attacks now, because those who have added on the armed herders come with a different face. They come in, no cattle are accompanying them, but then they're in the front lines visiting the targeted local government. They come, attack, kill, run back, and then occupation takes place after a few weeks. So this is very deliberate. I think it is an occupation simply because the invaders are coming from somewhere. They are coming from somewhere. They could have settled from this somewhere. So, but then when you come, it's granted that the Constitution permits all Nigerians can do their businesses wherever they find themselves. But it has to be by protocol. You cannot do your business at the detriment of my business. Each state, it's got some protocol. So when we know you come in, for you to settle down, again, so, whatever protocol Governor, that is in there, you have to be permitted.
If I may interject, Mr. Governor, so why do you feel that this illegal settlement that you're referring to is not a concern to the NSA? Because he's denying that, he's disputing that there are no non-state actors occupying any territory. You're calling it illegal settlement. Why are you differing in this very? This is an empirical thing, very easy to settle. Why the difference in opinion? Is this issue now being politicized?
There are a number of political actors who are trying to take a lot of advantage over this. What we experience is even more empirical than anything they might be projecting. I mean, anyone who might be saying what they have little or less knowledge on. They're killing these people. They are killing our people. And this is a fact, and this is a reality. The second phase of the armed herders attack is that those who have combined with the armed herders do not even speak what we understand. And they don't look like us Nigerians. So they have combined forces with these people. Why are they coming? Just with the aim to kill, to drive people out from their land, and then to occupy. And this is a fact. So it is beyond settlement. It is occupation, and this is a fact.
Mr. Governor, who are these political actors who are behind them, sir? Who are the political actors?
Yeah, this is where the intelligence should come up with these names. But all we know is, even from within the state, there are some bad actors who are there who try to put a spin on this narrative and the fact of the killings we're experiencing in the state. They don't even come to the fields, but they stay wherever they stay, and then they put a spin on it, and then they have attack dogs out there who now take it to the other side, and then they feel either we're lying or we're not doing anything about the carnage we're under. So the intelligence has to bring out these names. It would be of very huge help to us as well. Here in the state, again, what we have done is there was a very heavy attack in Sankara Axis, Ukum Logo, and Katsina Ala. We set up a judicial panel of inquiry, and then they are on these findings. Once they are about rounding up their work, once they bring this out, we are going to publish, the names of all those attackers of ours. So they cannot be combining forces with the headers, and then the second phase of the armed headers who now come in just to kill and then to occupy and just to drive we farmers away from this land of ours.
Agreed. I mean, you've touched on it in your answer just there, where you talk about some of the attributes of these attackers. You say that in terms of their physical attributes and also the language they're speaking, that you don't believe that they actually are Nigerian. Can you give us some more insight as to what is informing that position you have? And then also, when we're looking at this holistically, when you're looking at your strength as a governor, is this problem, because you're talking about a siege in your state, is this problem beyond your scope as governor? Is this too much for you to handle? Do you think a state of emergency should be declared in Benue State? Or do you still think there is space for you? Are you saying that what you need now is support, or is this situation so serious that it is too much for you to handle as a governor?
If this were too much for me to handle, we couldn't have trimmed it from 17 local governments in the front lines of the attacks to 9 and then down to 6. So which means we have the capability to do this, but we need help, and that is a fact. We have a number of occupation that span up to 15 years and some 22 years, and then some in the last 4 years. So, and this is where we have faced very squarely to ensure that we calm down everything and peace returns. What we need is the emergency for now on help. We need absolute support. The federal government is supported. They sent 2 armored tanks, that came in. Our situation had changed. We had a better narrative. But what we need to do is to get our people back home, to drive out the invaders, the armed raiders, who have brought in people who do not even speak the Nigerian languages we speak. Let them move back to wherever they came from. Allow us farmers to go back to ancestral lands and then to do our farming. The question of calling for any emergency does not occur here. What should be at play is help us. For the interim we've tried, we need more support to ensure that we push these people back. If you leave this to our own folks alone here, what they tell us is, we want all the military and the police to go away. We would protect ourselves. But if you have a carnage, a siege, a deliberate attack aimed at killing to occupy, to conquer you, it means for now it is beyond what they are thinking.
Governor, Father,
and then
can you hear me?
All the occupation would now displace as well.
Father, can you hear me? Just 2 quick things. There's been some ethnicization of the conflict in Benue. All this talk about Fulani herdsmen. Do you really believe that these herdsmen are Fulani and there's ethnic conflict in Benue? And number 2, I had asked a question to make a comment about Pope Francis, who died and who will be buried on Saturday. You've been, a man of the cloth for yourself.
Thank you so very much. I've established 2 points here primarily. 1, the armed Fulani herders came in, attacked us. Before now, they could attack, occupy. Once we moved in to push them out, they left. Now more warriors have been brought in by those herders who are supporting the attacks. And their simple aim is come in, kill, conquer, occupy. And the new face of this armed headers is saying it.
Mr. Governor, you are saying that the problem you have in Benue is a Fulani problem. That's what you are saying?
No, when you say Fulani, generally you come to the land, that is all we know, and that is how it is tagged. But if you hear my semantics here, the armed Fulanis, the terrorists, the murderers, the bandits that are disbalancing us, that are killing us. So the first fact established it, these are armed Fulanis who came in. And then they have a very stronger support of people who now come without the cattle. Then now theirs is even worse.
Governor.
They have combined forces.
Governor, please,
so this is what we are fighting.
We're trying to manage time. I wanted you to say something about Pope Francis and then talk about the way forward. You have established that as governor of Benue State, you have a Fulani problem. What do you think is the way forward? And then Pope Francis, because it's a major story in the world.
6 local governments are in the very hot front lines. The efforts we had put in are good, but we need even more support. Way forward would be, let the federal government give us 3 units of Mopol in these volatile borders we share with Taraba, with Nasarawa, and then with the Cameroons. It would be very, very helpful. We would also place another very long-term solution of a forward operation base, particularly again in those 3 areas. That would now, I strongly feel, with the internal support and arrangements we have, would stem the murderers, the killers, the bandits, and the terrorists, and the armed headsmen away. A comment on Pope Francis. Thank you so much for asking. It is quite a human face and a human heart. Someone who so much believed in the poor masses of the world, who supported them, who became their voice, and who defended them.